single line of light being beamed into an electronic dissecting tube.
Nations, where rhythm rules amid the skyscrapers.
Piece of cinnamon, unlike anything else.
The double Big Mac, and for 39 cents more, Super Salad.
You're watching SmackDown.
As part of my complete breakfast. Are you fan enough to join me?
Television, one of the best inventions of all time and an absolute staple of my childhood. But now, years later, we all look back at those times spent staring at the television for hours on end and feel super nostalgic. And we can't help but feel a little jealous of the kids today that get to live those same experiences spent watching TV all day. But unfortunately, that's not the case, because as we stand here in 2024, television is dead. The glory days of TV that we all got to experience are gone. And kids today could care less about what cartoons or shows are coming on at what time. They're watching Sniper Wolf react to the most oddly satisfying TikToks.
Wow.
Now I'm gonna try my best not to sound like an out-of-touch boomer, considering I'm only 19 years old. But I feel like an out-of-touch boomer at only 19 years old. When I see my little brother and sister not enjoying the classic shows we had, it hurts a little bit. I know we definitely had some bad shows in our time, but kids barely even watch SpongeBob anymore. SpongeBob, the cartoon of all cartoons, the mecca of animation. Now, as upsetting as this can be, there's also a lot of pluses to it as well. This shift in media was bound to happen eventually, and we're kind of just living through the changing of the guard. And I've been able to narrow it down to 3 key things I believe are responsible for the death of television. The first one being streaming services. Streaming services like Netflix and Hulu have been around for over a decade now, and we're at the point where everybody at least has one streaming service. The ability to be able to watch whatever TV show or movie you want, whenever you want, for only $10 a month is an absolute steal. Considering before, if you wanted to watch a show or a movie, you had to find out what time it was coming on what station, or you had to go and buy the DVD for it. And the DVDs themselves costed more than it cost to have a Netflix subscription and get hundreds of more shows. We've been blessed to be able to watch whatever we want, whenever we want, and kids today could care less about cable because of this. And then you consider all the shows that streaming services themselves have created that you can't even find on cable. Netflix has some of the most popular shows of all time that are Netflix original shows like BoJack Horseman, Squid Games, 13 Reasons Why, House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things. These are all incredibly popular shows that everybody was watching when they came out, and you could only find them on Netflix. But for a while, there were still things that you could only get watching TV. The biggest being sports. People love watching sports, and it's usually broadcasted only on TV, like on ESPN or ABC or a channel like that. But now streaming services are taking over that as well. Hulu and HBO Max are both streaming live sports now, and WWE has every pay-per-view ever, as well as their current shows broadcasted on Peacock. Yes, WWE is a real sport. I don't want to hear it.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Even when it comes to combat sports, which is built upon pay-per-view numbers, Netflix is getting into that lane as well. This November, they're hosting Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, which is one of the first boxing fights ever to be on a streaming service and not pay-per-view. I know a lot of people hate that this fight is happening, but it's still crazy what they're able to do. And I truly believe it's going to change the way that pay-per-views work in general. But okay, you could argue, even though nobody's watching cable TV anymore, if you have Amazon Prime, you can still watch SpongeBob, and if you have Netflix and Hulu, you can still watch a bunch of really good childhood shows. So you could argue streaming services didn't kill television, it just gave us a different way of viewing these shows. Which is fair, but it's why I believe that streaming services are the first of the 3 things that killed television. It gave us this sense of individuality and choice, which resulted in the explosion of the platform that you're watching this video on right now, YouTube.
Alright, so here we are in front of the elephants. Cool thing about these guys is that
What first started as funny cat videos, Neon Cat, and Charlie Bit My Finger, has now become more popular than any streaming service or any cable TV channel ever. Especially after people like MrBeast came along and brought the platform to a whole other level, it seems like everybody wants to be a YouTuber today, and it's become people's favorite things to watch. Out of the millions of videos being uploaded every day, anybody's bound to find somebody making content that perfectly suits them. It doesn't require a big production team to make these videos. Most of the time it's just one guy, or maybe an editor and a thumbnail designer, and they just make whatever videos they think their audience will like the most. It's such an authentic platform with people just being themselves. When you watch TV shows or movies, everybody's playing characters, and it doesn't seem as interesting to a kid to want to be them. But YouTubers seem so relatable. It's like you're hanging out with a friend, which is why YouTube has gotten so popular. Back in the day, when you asked an elementary school kid what they want to be when they're older, they would say an NFL player, a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher. But nowadays, YouTuber has been added to that list. From kids to adults, everybody can find a YouTuber they enjoy. And most YouTubers are pumping out videos at least once a week, if not more. Compared to TV shows, it can take a year for a new season to come out just to have like 15 new episodes. I love this platform and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon, and it's a big reason nobody watches cable TV anymore. But there is still one more thing that I believe has irreversibly killed the idea of television for the next generation, and it'll be looked at as the biggest reason for its death. And that is none other than TikTok. TikTok, as well as YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, have completely killed everybody's attention spans. But TikTok was the first to really perfect this style of content. These videos are usually about 10 seconds to a minute, and this algorithm has perfectly found out what viewers are interested in and what people want to see at any given moment. As much hate as TikTok can get, it is probably the most genius platform I've ever seen. When you're scrolling through TikTok, it's genuinely hard to stop. You get so lost in these mindless videos, and hours can fly by. It's such a good algorithm that YouTube, Instagram, and pretty much every social media has replicated what TikTok did. And now kids, teens, and adults are spending hours of their day watching these short form videos. And the reason I say this is the final nail in the coffin for the death of television is because people can't even sit down and watch a full 30-minute episode of a show, let alone a 2-hour movie. The instant gratification that you get from these videos is unlike anything we have ever seen, and cable TV just isn't interesting to kids anymore. And again, I'm gonna sound like a boomer, but I really think this could damage the next generation of kids. The creators of all the kids shows I mentioned had a lot of responsibility when creating these shows. They were responsible for not only entertaining kids, but teaching them valuable life lessons in an entertaining way. They knew how many kids were gonna be watching these shows, so a lot of them tried to sprinkle in a lot of wisdom that hopefully we could take with us for the rest of our lives. The reason I'm saying this is because I genuinely feel like kids watching these shows is important. Because now all kids are consuming are these brain rot TikTok, YouTube shorts of people just trying to make money. I'm not saying it's these streamers or content creators' jobs to be role models. They don't have to do that at all. But I think parents should be advising what their kids are watching a lot more and making them watch shows that aren't just funny, weird, brain rot TikToks. So if you're gonna let them watch TikToks for hours on end, make sure to sit them down and make them watch some SpongeBob too. I love innovation and cultural change, and the past 10 years have been crazy in that regard. But as I keep getting older, it's gonna be sad watching these shows I watched every day and loved slowly disappear and become forgotten. Which is probably exactly how my parents felt when I didn't want to watch Sesame Street and I was 10 years old watching Markiplier and PewDiePie all day. So maybe I'm a giant hypocrite.